Greetings, everyone, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Sacred Heart Awakenings video. I am here to share a message of what the heart wishes you to know. Do you find it hard to love yourself? Are you hurting from a painful heartbreak? Do you struggle with unworthiness and low self-esteem? Well, you're in the right channel for this. And in this message, I would love to share about how what our thoughts and our emotions impact everything inside of us, including what is the underlying cause of us feeling so unworthy and having such low self-esteem. And certainly, there are things that trigger such things, such as heartbreaks from romantic relationships or other form of heartbreaks in your life, in our life, which I include myself in this as well. So I am Monica Bermudez, and I am an intuitive self-love energy healer. And it gives me such joy and pleasure and honor and gratitude to share this love wisdom message with you on what the heart wishes you to know. So I will just discuss some overview of what we plan to cover in this video. We will discuss certain cases related to the heart and all the patterns and everything that is impacting the physical body and our being, and then discuss other cases and examples of related to that, and then provide some tips to help you shift any thoughts or any forms of unworthiness and blocks related to love for self and love for, being able to open your heart more and being able to attract more of the healthier relationships in your life. So just to share those tips towards the end of the video, I will be happy to share that with you to provide support. So today is Saturday, November 14th, 2020. It is a new moon. I believe it's a super moon, new moon in November. We just went through a beautiful portal of 1111 gateway, which has really shifted us into what I was feeling intuitively was more of a love activation, and accelerated the time even more, which means that everything that we're thinking right now is going to accelerate our thoughts, and manifestation is going to be even more accelerated. So just take extra care with what it is you're visualizing, what it is you're thinking, and which I'll be sharing throughout the video. And it all relates to everything that we've been going through in 2020 with all the changes, and how the heart is a vital, important foundation of our entire being to start with, because it is the center of our temple, which is our body. And our body, it's almost like a car, right? It needs tune-up, it needs some certain maintenance to it, care to be able to continue in life in this physical form, to be able to express your own soul and live your soul purpose and be surrounded by healthy relationships, including a lifelong partner, if that is what you desire. And, truthfully, we all deserve to be in healthy relationships and deserve to have those long life divine partners in our life, because you're meant to be love and you're meant to be joy. And so I wanted to also briefly talk about, since yesterday was Friday the 13th, there's been a lot of superstition around this holiday. And I believe, as a matter of fact, the 13 is a universal powerful number, which is symbolized by the divine feminine energy. So there's definitely a lot of feminine energy coming in to this planet at the moment to align or realign the planet itself. If you think of planet Earth as also being another form of physical body that is like a tune-up, like a car, basically what you have to maintain. And so for so long, it's been out of alignment and out of balance. And so now we're bringing in the divine feminine energy to bring back that balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. So Earth, being a physical body, has a consciousness just like us. It is a living being, and it's expressed itself in different ways and supporting us on this planet, supporting us as our physical bodies, which are part of the Earth as well. So as you know, it's said, from dust to dust, and that is, a true statement, because we are part of the Earth and the Earth is a part of us as well. So getting into the topic, so psychologists and many studies have shown that on a daily basis we have more than 6,000 thoughts in our head. And about 90% of those thoughts are usually related to past experiences or worries about the future, and they're usually very negative. So about 80% of those are negative thoughts that are more critical to ourselves and critical of others. So if you really think, do the math, that's almost 100% of the majority of the thoughts that we think about on a daily basis. So it's good to start becoming aware of this and acknowledge certain thoughts running through your head and feelings that you're feeling, because all of that also impacts your heart. It impacts the arteries of your heart. Negative thoughts just makes the heart weaker, as studies have shown for the physical heart. It can increase the stress, which increases blood pressure and the rate of the heart. Whereas what studies have shown is that when you start to think more positive thoughts, it actually strengthens the arteries around your heart. So there's more to the heart aside from it just being the physical form. There is the chakra level of the energy form, which you have the upper heart area just around here, and the lower heart is where the physical heart is. But when the two come together, they form a harmonious union of chemical wedding, which I like to call them as being twin flames in their own way. And so they unite in a harmonious way to blend together and connecting with your own soul, source connection of your soul. So I like to think of, connecting it to the heart of the soul, where they also form another union that I consider to be the Sacred Heart. And so with this Sacred Heart, it's a portal it's a gateway that takes you in deeper into love with the universal force of love. So it's an infinite source of love within. So what happens is that when we are buried in the junk of this negative thoughts of, criticizing ourselves because we may have been triggered by a heartbreak, or maybe triggered by comparing ourselves, which leads to the low self-esteem when we look outside too much of ourselves and looking at others and comparing ourselves and saying this person looks prettier, or I wish I had, this better, image and so forth. And so it's a lot of comparison, and that also brings down the self-esteem. Whereas more of the inner work is needed, becoming more aware of what it is that you're thinking about yourself, what it is that you're thinking about others. And all of that just causes us to disconnect ourselves from this source connection within our heart, of our own sacred heart and our own attunement with the universal life force of love. So in a way, we cause ourselves to form this wall and this closure where we have a hard time trying to open our heart because of our past experiences of which may have been triggered from this lifetime. It may have been from past lifetimes of, and I'm speaking about reincarnation because we've had many human lifetimes. And in those human lifetimes, we've accumulated tons of experiences, including traumas and pain and suffering that was all buried at the atomic cellular level that gets transferred and buried in the subconscious level in our being. And so at a subconscious level, we may not be aware of certain patterns and energy codes that may have been already programmed from then. If, for example, you suffer so much, and so that pain of emotion, that pain of thoughts running through your head, it all gets buried in your cells or gets programmed in your cells at the DNA level. So it's more of an unwinding and reprogramming of yourself to get out of this junk, to be able to energetically shift yourself and support your whole heart system to become much healthier area. So there's been some studies with two groups, and one of the groups was very focused on a negative aspect, whereas the second group was very focused on the positive aspect. And as part of the test, each group was to eat chocolate. So who here loves chocolate? I do. So chocolate, is very, I can get into some of the chocolates and how it relates to the heart, but I want to talk about this case about the two groups first. And chocolate was to be eaten by these two groups. The group that was negative, of course, was feeling this whole guilt around eating chocolate because they felt that it was going to make them gain weight. So they were too focused on this whole guilt and shame of eating it, and they just felt bad the whole time eating it. So as a result, in the studies, it showed that this group had a really hard time losing weight because of the increased amount of stress that they had in their system just from this guilt and this whole shame of eating it, and just focusing on that energy. And so the study showed how it impacts the whole physical body, including the heart, because the heart at that point is feeling closed up and not opening up to enjoying it, which leads us into the positive group. And in this group, they were very focused on eating the chocolate, but they made it a focal point to enjoy and celebrate it. And notice how the word enjoy has the word joy in it. And joy is love in action. So it is, it shows how emotions and thoughts can impact the body. So obviously, because of the positive group enjoying and celebrating having the chocolate, they didn't have such a hard time losing the weight as the other group that did the test with the guilt and shame while eating it. So their body was, and their heart was more open to that aspect of their own joy coming in. So just to share that chocolate, the best chocolate that is good for the heart is the raw cacao, which is raw, pure chocolate. And there's something about its ingredients. If you look it up, it will tell you that it's good for the heart. It's actually a great health factor for it. So definitely, enjoying that chocolate, it's not so bad, but just enjoy it and celebrate it if you do plan to go have some chocolate. So I wanted to share some insight in that as well. So what are some tips then that you can do to help your heart become more lighter, more enjoying, more joyful, and more open? Well, first of all, you want to shift and stay focused on having a positive attitude and doing your utmost best to recognize and acknowledge when you're shifting into the other direction. And I do it myself. There's times that I catch myself when I'm drifting into that thought, and I quickly reshift myself through an affirmation or some other technique and just focus on something positive. So that's what I also recommend and encourage you to do, is just to try to be as aware and acknowledging of what it is that you're thinking and feeling. And it is, an important part of your journey. While, we're still human, of course, we're still living in this world of polarity, but it doesn't mean that you have to go either way. It's the key that the heart is your balancing point. It carries so much wisdom when it is more open, when you start to heal it more and repair it. So the second one is to have fun and play more, do something more joyful and exciting. What is it that you love to do that excites you? Do you love to go out for walks? Do you love to watch comedy, funny movies, or read a book? Or what is it that you enjoy? And, maybe dancing or sewing or cooking, or other, exercises that you love. And that brings you joy, that brings you fun and pleasure in your life. So it's definitely a balancing thing. If you're always just working and not really giving your time to allow some time for your own care and play, it will definitely be a down point and increase more stress, as studies have shown as well, when it's just overworking and not allowing yourself to take that break that you need. And the last one that I would like to share is about doing daily practice of gratitude. It is amazing how gratitude can shift immediately something that is feeling heartbreaking or closing the heart. And it's a shifting of attitude in a very fast rate. So you could do affirmations on gratitude, find ways or things that you are very grateful about in your life, or those who are around you that you're grateful about. There's so many things out there. And of course, if you are struggling with that, you really should start writing and practicing it, and allowing yourself the time to focus on some of those gratitude areas. So what your heart really wants you to know is that to take back your love power, because this is your true divine nature, to be the joy, to be the love, to be in your own love power, which is the universal force of this whole universe that holds us. And love itself is very strong. And so this is the time to claim back that power and get the healing that you need in your heart, get the support you need from those that you connect with. And I look forward to hearing any comments you may have or questions around it. So as a free gift, I offer in my website or below in the description a nine signs your heartbreak is a spiritual awakening in disguise. So in this guide, it gives you some signs and guidance as to what it is that's happening during your heartbreak, which happened to me in my personal experience when I went through my heartbreak and my divorce, which was the most intense dark night of the soul of my life. And so I share these tips with you in hopes that it will help and guide you as well. And I also offer complimentary Sacred Heart Awakenings breakthrough sessions if you would like to explore areas in your heart that need support and need certain guidance as far as heart activations and heart repairs and heart healing. I do channel light language, so I use the energy to support any patterns that are stuck or in the subconscious level of the heart that is causing the heart to stay closed, and to allow it to open more with that energy code. Because it's not, you don't deserve to be stuck in any form. You deserve to be in this energy of joy and live a life of joy, because that is the way we're all moving towards now, as 2020 has shown us, with so many changes happening on this planet. And love is the key to ascend us and accelerate our ascension into this 5D and higher dimensions, because we are higher dimension and we deserve to be in that vibration. You deserve to be in healthier relationships of your divine partner, if that is what you desire. So before I conclude, I want to end it with some quotes from Rumi. So for those who don't know, Rumi is a 13th century Persian poet, and till this day most of his quotes are still quoted. And I would say, they're very deep quotes, and they do say a lot of beautiful messages in them. So we'll dissect one of them. So one, he says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So what Rumi is saying is that the love is already inside of you. So what is happening is that we cause ourselves to block ourselves, or block that channel of love, that power love that we talked about earlier, due to all this junk or limited beliefs, or emotional pain, and also making ourselves feel unworthy, or having these low self-esteems because we tend to compare ourselves to others too much. And this whole thing was a competition in this world, which is really not about competition. It's about unity and oneness, about coming together and helping each other. And that is the unity consciousness of this higher dimension of the ascension that we're all going towards. So that's what Rumi is saying, is that claim that power inside of you, which is that universal love inside your being that you carry. And the last quote from him is, don't grieve. Anything you lose comes around in another form. So what may seem like a loss is really not a loss, because there's always another form that it manifests itself in different ways. Because the way I see energy is recycled. So when there's death, there's rebirth, and there's so much meaning and symbolism behind all that. So that also helps to open the heart, knowing that everything is okay and everything will be fine, and everything is fine. So I do hope that these tips have helped you. I would love to hear from you. And just a reminder, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have been posting 2 videos per week, Sunday morning as well as Monday morning, sharing different love wisdom messages like the one that I just shared, related to self-love, related to the heart, related to relationships and light language, energy support, as well as nature walks, and so many other messages that I would love to share with you. So I do look forward to connecting with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So sending you so much love and so much care for your entire being. So bye for now. Namaste.